Having both is blessing. As the first born, I have an younger sister. I should say that I've been pampered very much being the first born. I was not sent to school till I was 6. My mother used to warn my father saying that he is solely responsible for anything wrong, for anything that goes wrong with my career. So finally my father decided to send me to school. My parents arrived at a decision to send me to school nearby our house, where I was allowed to join first class directly. My mother struggled a lot in teaching the basics of numbers, alphabet, where the first time that student is expected to know. And it was the same case with my sister, but unfortunately she was not allowed to sit in first class directly. I always wondered how single children spend their childhood. It is with our brothers and sisters that we learn to love, fight, share, start and end fights, negotiate, and many to save ways. Recently, when we were asked to depict our childhood life in our PE class, the most incidents that I could remember were between my sister and me. There were times when we had really big fights for small things like chocolates, pens, bags, computer, etc. When I left my hometown to Hyderabad for my engineering, my sister fell sick for 3 days, suffering from high fever. Sister is probably the most complicated relationship within the family, but as we grow up, the relationship becomes stronger. Coming to my likings, passions and ambitions, I'm very passionate about dance. I love dancing. I'm very passionate about dance. I love dancing. My mother, being a very good dancer, she taught me a very few small basic steps when I was 5. That's how I started learning dance. I never attended any dance classes or courses. This reminds me of my principal in high school, who used to call me dancer after giving my performance in annual day celebrations. I devote most of my free time listening to music. I just spend hours and sometimes even days listening to the same song again and again. My friends even often ask me, how can you listen to the same song again and again? Don't you do it? And one more passion is learning languages. I love learning languages. Now I'm in the process of learning Hindi. I can understand Kannada and Malayalam, Telugu being my mother tongue. I can even speak Tamil and English obviously. I'm a bit French and now I've taken up the editing German. I'm a chocolate lover. I'll be ready to share any food stuff except chocolates. My friends told me. At home, my mother she never allowed me to have chocolates, but after coming here, I had the freedom of having chocolates. And my friends even call me Pinky, because I love the color pink, or most of my stuff pink in color. Even very basic stuff like toothpaste, my pen, brush. My friends say that I really irritate them by my stupid ideas and jokes, especially because I love irritating them. My father had many job transfers in 10 years. He had to shifted to 5 places in 10 years. So he has stayed every place. So I couldn't keep in touch with all the friends. But when my father got into business, we stayed in Nellore for more than 7 years. So I made a group of 5 friends. Some are into engineering, some into medicine, and some are working their degrees. We all get together at one place in a restaurant. We party whenever I go home for vacation. I have never been away from home till the time I came here.
Thanks for the narrative, Durga. And much like you, even my mom has some reservations about me having cold drinks, particularly thumbs up. And after coming here, I've realized that staying alone has its advantages. By the way, Durga, what was your speech level?
First.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
I am
evening.
Muslim Nagar, and I am IPM first year student. I am from Shekhawati region in Rajasthan, and my childhood was spent in a village and partly in a town. So, in earlier days, my grandfather was HM of the school, and I didn't like to go to school, but I still had to go. I never liked to sit in first standard. I liked to sit in with my brother. But there was a PTI sir. He used to bully me that you cannot sit here. You have to sit in your own class. But I resisted no, I will sit here. And once there was no teacher in the class, and we were all fighting with the bags and with the chatais and all. Then he came, that what are you doing? Why are you fighting here? This is not your farmhouse, that you can do anything. Then he intended to punish the students, and then he started asking questions from mathematics. He asked the question that what number we should multiply with 5 so that we get 55. No one was able to answer the question except me and my brother. Then he asked me, I told that it's 11. Then he said, excellent. Now you deserve to sit in the third class and not others. Others who want to go first standard can go and study there. And after that he never said again we to go there and study in my class. But then I started to sit in my own class. And from that school I shifted to another school in a town, Sadar Shahar, and where I was, little like afraid of others, that they are, city people, I am a village lad, how will I compete with these? And these feelings, inferiority complex came in my mind. But I thought that yes, I am wrong, I should not feel like this. And after that, in 6th and 7th standard, I became very mischievous. But I never hesitated to do anything like slapping my friends, and I was always used to be punished by teachers every week. Then I came to Jaipur for studying 11th and 12th class. Then at that time I was completely alone, and I started developing interest in like singing, like listening music, and like studying the stuff on spiritual and philosophical ideas like Gita and all. After that I came here and I am here.
That was a great description of the journey, your own journey up till now. We'll be looking forward to hearing more from you as the time passes. So the next prepared speech giver for the day is Sindhuja.
Sorry?
I will not use the mic. Am I audible?
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Good evening, my dear friends. I would like to start my speech for today with one question. Do you love yourself? Yes, you heard me right. do you love yourself? You're probably thinking, of course I do. What is there of not loving yourself? But my question is, do you really love yourself for what you are? This question makes the base of my topic for today, that self-acceptance. Self-acceptance, self-love, self-happiness, it's all the same thing. But why is it so important? Honestly, because if you can't love yourself for your true personality, how can you love anyone else? Now, how many times have you heard that before? Many times. Only because it's true. Hating yourself is what leads to a lot of bigger problems. How many of you here can say that you haven't hated yourself for your faults and weaknesses? None, right? This is the major problem that today's generation is facing. Why is it so hard to accept our weaknesses when one is able to boast about their strengths? Courage comes in picture now. Courage indeed is required to accept anything that is challenging to us. Even to come up here and talk in front of all of you, I require courage. Weaknesses and faults are nothing but the challenges given to us by nature. One should learn how to accept them and move on instead of cribbing. To support my views, I'll take help of few examples. On 27 June 1880, a little girl was born in Alabama, USA, who lived a normal, healthy life like any of us until she was 19 months old. Suddenly, she fell ill. Her illness did not last for a long time, but it indeed left the child deaf and blind. By now, the name has struck your brain. That's Helen Keller. What would have happened if she hadn't accepted her disability and moved forward? The world today would have missed the great inspirational figures for her outstanding achievements. Who does not know Sudha Chandran here? What made her world famous and a class apart dancer, even though there are many others out there with better or similar caliber? Sudha Chandran, who became disabled due to an unpleasant accident, did face a very tough phase in her life. But did she sit back saying that her disability is stopping her from progressing in her life? No. Rather, she gained a large amount of courage in accepting her disability and proved herself as one of the best Bharatanatyam dancers till date. And many more such examples to list out. What exactly can we draw from such stories? A lot. When these people are able to succeed in their life with such displeasing conditions, why can't we? Do you really think we all have such major weaknesses? I don't think so. As compared to the above examples, our weaknesses are very minute to think about. According to my view, the only solution for this is to accept the way you are, your shortcomings, your goodness, and with an open heart and a smile. Be yourself to show the world the unique you. Everyone has flaws, but that's what makes all of us unique and different from others. I'll conclude my speech with a saying of Gautam Buddha. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Keep loving yourself and smile. Thank you.
Well, each of us has our weaknesses. I wonder if you have a solution for laziness, probably one of the best relishable weaknesses. So, moving on to none other than Rashmi Ranjan.
Before I start, I want all of you to close your eyes for 10 seconds and think of the most important thing that you are really passionate about.
What if I fall asleep?
No, you won't. If you are really passionate about sleeping, then it's okay.
Alright, let's start.
Start. Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, ladies and gentlemen, keep that in your mind. I'll come to your thoughts and all towards the latter part of my speech. Now, a few days back, I saw a very interesting TEDx video. It was by Suzanne Cain. She delivered a very powerful speech about the power of introverts. In that speech, she went on to describe how our society is creating an extrovert ideal world. Now, what is this extrovert ideal world? Extrovert ideal world means our society, our institutions, schools, colleges, workforce, everyone fosters the belief that extroverts are ideal. They praise them, promote them, exalt them, glorify them. I thought about it. It's really true. From our childhood, our parents make us believe that being quiet is bad, but gregariousness is the ideal way forward. They do not want us to take up really solitary but yet serious hobbies like classical music, stamp collection, or maybe reading novels. So they want us to be, in a way, so-called extroverts. Now the same idea can be extended even till this phase of our lives. Take for example, our institution IIM Indore. The pedagogy of our learning here fosters the belief that we should focus on teamwork, group study, class participation. These are all nothing but different manifestations of extrovert behavior. Now the only problem is that for subjects like mathematics, maybe critical thinking, where deeper analysis of subjects by individuals are most important, we are saddled with forced class participation, which is bad. Now in companies, it is no different. You are promoted and achieve success not because of your talent or potential, but also how good you are at selling yourself. So what are we losing out in the process? We are losing our true potential. We are losing out on what we are really good at doing. We are just putting up a mask just to make sure that nobody brands us a misfit in the society. So I go back to what I asked you to do, a small exercise that we did while I started my speech. Now, how many of you think that you are still devoting time for the things that you are really passionate about? Not many. Still, less than 50%. And we are supposed to be the brightest minds of our country. So the problem that I see is that we are not getting enough opportunities and our society is forcing us to behave in that way. Well, what is the way forward then? For a start, I would like you to go back to your room. When at night you are going to sleep, look yourself in the mirror and think how you spent your day. Ask yourself this question: if you had the chance to relive the day, would you do something else? Would you do something different? Ask yourself the same question every night. If you get the answer, yes, I would rather do something else for quite a number of days consecutively, then you know there is something missing. There is something missing which you have to figure it out. Just sit back and redraw your daily chart. Before I stop, I will leave with one of my favorite quotes, that is by Steve Jobs, which he said during the commencement speech at Stanford University. He said, the only way to be truly satisfied is to do great work. And to do great work is to love what you do. If you have not found it, keep looking. Don't just sit back. Toastmasters.
That really asks a lot of questions, and that was really meaningful. Okay, before moving on, let me just ask whether either of Niveta or Anshika or Paridhi have their Paridhi.
Hi everybody, I'm Paridhi Bhandari and today I'm here to give my icebreaker speech on myself and the rest. Well, summing up your life in just 5 minutes is quite a difficult task. The first question which came to my mind when I started writing my speech was that won't it be boring for my audience to listen about my life? And the answer came, yes, of course it will be. After all, who in the present world would like to, who would be interested to hear about someone else's life, and very especially in the present busy world where people have classes from dawn to dusk and every single thing is made mandatory, then why would anyone else be interested in wasting his time in commenting on the lives of other people? And the next question which came was that, can I keep these foolish thoughts aside? And the answer was, yes, I should. Well, that kind of relieved me, and at least gave a start to my speech where I could write anything and everything about me. No, that's a different topic. I really spent time thinking, what is it that I would actually like to tell about my life that you could relate yourself with, or at least learn from. And I hope you would agree that everybody can learn something or the other from the experiences of other people, especially my friends who are here studying psychology who would support Bandura's observational theory. Sorry for reminding you of psychology again. Well, keeping that in mind, here goes my life journey. It all began when in the MY hospital I was born at 9:18 p.m. On 7th of January 1994. What an historic day. My first name ever was Bati, and courtesy to my round, sweet face. We are 4 sisters, and the best part of it is that I am the youngest one. I had been brought up in a family where everybody was wiser than me, and that, to a great extent, shaped my life and my values. But also, since I have always had elder people around me to play tricks with and to tease them, I am basically and fundamentally a very naughty person. And it's to my goodness these days that is awakening and preventing me from doing all those tricks again. My childhood was spent doing all different sorts of things, including swimming, studying, playing on the colony street, and doing all sorts of crazy things to get my demands fulfilled. As I grew up, I turned into more of an introvert kind of person. That was the time when I really didn't care to tell people about my life and its problems because I thought that I was the best person to solve them, and neither was I interested in the lives of other people. Those were also the times when I was deeply impressed by my father. He is the one from whom I learned the smallest to the biggest things of my life. I always wish to be like him, the way he talks, the way he walks, the way he listens, the way he thinks, everything. But yeah, I realized that great people cannot be duplicated, they can only be admired. So, going on this track of introversion, I found my first love in class 10. That was mathematics. Truly speaking, that was really the time when I could hear violins playing around. Okay, fine, I accept that because it was due to the music that I used to listen on the earphones. But yeah, I would still call it my first love. History is evident that ordinary people become extraordinary when they are inspired by an idea larger than themselves. That's from where I discovered my idol, Dr. Kalam. He is the man of my life, and the best moment was when I could meet him here at Planetarium. But before that was also another moment of my life. That was when I realized that I could be something in my life. And that was when I had my AIR 10 in CA entries. But God had a different plan for me, and that's where here I landed up in IIM Indore. I feel that everything in life comes with a purpose, and it's either a blessing or a learning. And this was reaffirmed when it was confirmed that if you don't do a probability well in school, it will again come up and stuck you up in your college. So here at IIM, life is quite exciting because it has gallows of opportunities and experiences to offer. It gives me the zeal and impetus to work towards excellence. I like myself and strongly feel that I can make a difference to this world with my potential. And I own everything about me, my body, my feelings, my actions, my fantasies, my fears, and my dreams. I own me, and therefore I can engineer me. coming to the end of my speech, I would like to tell you all people that we all are unique, and so what is necessary is that we realize the uniqueness in ourselves and keep ahead with that till we achieve all our dreams. Thank you.
Is there any prepared speeches?
Impromptu speeches today. Love. The definition of love, so many writers, many movies have been made on that. But what I think, my different kind of definition is, the thing which calms down Incredible Hulk's anger is love. So we'll start off with impromptu speeches today. This is a different kind of impromptu speech today. What we will do is, we'll call upon the students and they'll come here. They won't be having any topic up as such. They come here, they'll have to come up with pick-up lines. For example, if you are asking someone out in a bar or in a pub, that kind of speech. Now, so many of you might be wondering, this is not the kind of speech category which we refer in Toastmasters, but I think it is a kind of persuasive speech. So, person Vasundhara. You can still talk about someone like a person, like a celebrity who you want to date. You just have to tell me a person, the name of the person who you like. Like for example, if you like Brad Pitt, you can say Brad Pitt, and then you can think for 30 seconds to come up with a persuasive speech that Brad Pitt, please go on a date with me. That kind of speech. You just have 2 minutes. So who you are going to talk about?
Okay, you can think for 30 seconds and just directly start the speech. So you have 30 seconds.
Spend the time, but now I just want to spend my time with my family because I have never been from being 6-7 years to be with my family, all my brother and sister, and it is very hard from same year to be at same place for one day. Before 6 years we made together, but it was only for one day, and I really missed. We always miss when we get together for 10 days or 20 days because I miss my childhood day, and I don't know to whom I should say, but I really want to leave my whole family for whole 1 month and enjoy my life because it is very hard to miss those days and remember what fun we had in childhood, and from 10 years I'm not getting that opportunity, and I really miss that today. And I hope I can get after 1-2 years when we finished our study, but I don't know.
See, I'll explain it again. See, what you have to do is come here on stage. See, for example, I'll give you the example. For example, I like Angelina Jolie. For example. So I'll come here, I'll tell I like Angelina Jolie. Today, I'm going to ask Angelina Jolie out for a date. Get it? So that way, I'll come up with a pickup line. Asking someone out won't take 2 minutes time, right? It will take less than that, actually. So you have to come up with pickup lines and those kind of things, like a persuasive speech. Similar. So next person is Kulpreet Singh. Yeah.
It's a speech, or should we tell him a dialogue?
Yeah, you can make it a
If it's a
dialogue.
dialogue, it's better. If it's a dialogue, it's better.
So we should enact both the person who we like and us.
Or you can call someone from the audience.
Yeah, sure.
Even better.
That will do. We have one guy and a girl. We can call 2 of you. You can take 4 minutes if you want.
No, it's okay. If somebody is comfortable with playing like a fictitious character in the front, then it's okay.
I had some kind of unfair advantage in this speech because while he disclosed the topic to everyone, I had some time to reflect upon my life and think about the incidents that had happened to me in my romantic life. Okay, this person is not very famous. Actually, none of you might know her. She was one of my fellow rock climbers. Her name was Rachel, and she was a photojournalist from Sweden who was posted in India. So I actually revisited this incident. I made a fool out of myself on one of the rock climbing escapades with her. So the incident was like this. See, we were good. There were a couple of, not actually a couple of rock climbers. It was actually 5 rock climbers. There were 2 girls and 3 guys. So I would like to say that I was a very novice kind of rock climber at that time. I was not very good in technique, and most of my rock climbing it was based on strength. So we went to a place called Garden of Five Senses. Anyone from Delhi? Okay. So it was a day in December. So that it was actually a very cold day in December, and we were going to that garden in around afternoon. So the thing is that garden is very much famous for romantic escapades in addition to the rock climbing, those rocks. So many of the couples they were posing around. My speech might extend a bit, so to talk long it's great. So many of the couples were posing around, and it actually made us a bit, what you can say, a bit embarrassed, because we were there for rock climbing, and that kind of sights, they were making me a bit embarrassed. So we came to the rocks where we were supposed to boulder around, and we found that the place where you are supposed to hold the rock from, it's a bit up high. So you can either grab it by jumping if your height is good, otherwise you have to take help of a fellow rock climber. Since I told you that I was novice at that time, Rachel asked me for help. Without thinking, without giving it any second thought, what I did was I grabbed her from waist and I raised her. That was one of the most embarrassing, most humiliating incidents of my life. Because when you are supposed to raise a rock climber, you are supposed to, forward your hands like this. The fellow rock climber is supposed to put your feet on your hands and then grab the rock. We were 5 rock climbers, and everyone was staring at me as if I had committed some kind of sin. She just, while I was putting her up in the air like this, she told me to lower her down. When I lowered her down, she very gently, in a very low voice, she told me in my ear that you are not supposed to handle rock climbers like this. You are supposed to put your hands forward, and they are supposed to step on your hands, and then they are supposed to grab the rock. So if I'm asked to, revisit that incident, or if I had to ask her again if I had to ask her out, I'm going to say I made a fool of myself at that time. I want to, atone that embarrassing incident now, and I want to buy you a dinner or buy you a drink. So that would be my atonement.
So, you guys ready?
I'd like to start my speech by telling you about my personality. I am a very shy and an introvert kind of person. I don't usually gel well along with people, and when I was in my school days, I was really afraid of girls, to be honest. I couldn't talk to them. There was a girl in 11th standard that I loved, really. And it took me 1.5 years to just say hi to her. That's a very long time to. And when I finally said, and the basic introduction started, the communication started, she was a fan of Kings 11 Punjab team, and I was doing business when I was in 11th and 12th. That's a different story. We talk about in the icebreaker. And so what happened was that I took her, she wanted to see the match, and I had my approaches and I got her the ticket, and for me also. So, and we went to the match. The ticket was the president box. I didn't pay for the ticket, but the MRP of the ticket is around 1.5 lakhs. I didn't pay for it. And then what happened was that when I showed her the match, the whole day went great. I felt like it was the first day, and alright, I was in on cloud 9. And then the second day when I came to school, I had a fight and I got suspended for 1 week. And then later when I got back after the suspension, I listened about she and having a relationship with another guy whom I beat up. So that's not a very pleasant situation to be in. And I would really like if I could have a second opportunity to
beat him.
not have the fight and make up.
Oh, I thought you were going to beat him up again. You didn't hand over the dice to him.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
So Pooja.
I'll begin the speech by simply kind of a dialogue that way. First, I'll be pondering on how I'll go and approach him, and then eventually, in the last, I'll go and ask. Okay? And yeah. So, by the way, I'm Pooja. I'm from IPM 2, and this is my personal question. What should I tell him? After so many days, I actually getting the courage to go and tell him all this. And it'll be my first date with him. Where should we go? What should I tell him? What should I ask him out? 6 feet tall and I'm just 5'4". I wonder how am I going to actually ask him out? Should I take or go into that what the guy should not mean? Then should I directly go and tell him in the face, or should I? What should I do? I think I'll go be myself, look him eye to eye, and then tell him what I actually want to tell. No, that's not possible. Why not ask Kiran to go and tell him? That would be better. Then maybe he himself might come and ask me, or no, that is not right. I guess the only thing I can do is go and tell him, face to face, bring it on. I'm good. Hi to Shri Chaitanya. Will you go out with me for, ready?
But I was again expecting the later part. You go out with me, and again, why? Because I'm good, I'm pretty. If you would like to have a fun. And next was Kiran and Kiran.
I'm Kiran, a student of IPM second year. First of all, I have to tell you a big thank you because this was a true Valentine's Day surprise, actually a shock, that I actually have to talk about something like this, which is like, I'm completely, I don't really talk about much about all this kind of stuff, but okay, fine anyways. If I have to ask someone out, I think it would probably be a guy from my previous engineering college. And it was just that I was just there before coming to IPM, before joining over here. I was there for 3 months. And it all started on our freshers day. The seniors, they gave each of us a red rose. And we had to keep the rose with us till the end of the entire freshers party. And we thought, okay, fine, what are we going to do with the rose? Nothing, we'll just take it back. And then they put this surprise to us that the guys and the girls, you have to get up, take your rose, and go and give it to the person you're interested in. So then I was like, okay, fine. We just were sitting there waiting. We thought that let the guys start first. Why should we start now, the girls? So then, okay, so this guy came up and gave me the rose. Okay, I was kind of interested in him, fine. And so after the entire thing, I took it. I got 2 more, but I was not really interested in the other people. So then after that, it was our turn. And then, I don't know why, but just impulsively, I got up and I went and gave the rose back to him. That is my rose, not his rose, obviously. And then, yeah, that was it. And then we parted. I came to his door and he's still continuing over there. Yeah, we do talk on SB and all, but nothing more than that. So maybe if I was still there, maybe we both could have gone to a common place to have some fun today. And then that's it.
I fight with her.